866-582-9933 is the number to call to talk to me live today. Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is another live broadcast of FireYourMDNow.com. I should probably stop saying that because when they need to rebroadcast it, if they rebroadcast the show and I say this is live, the people are going to think it's live. All right, that's the last time I'll say that. In any event, 855-347-3696 is the number to call to speak with a live, living, breathing human being about the health opportunity that we talk about here, about the business opportunity that we don't talk about enough here, and about longevity, nutritional supplementation, broadly speaking. That number, 855-347-3696. If you're compelled by your intuition to want to learn more about what we do, if you think that what I am talking about is accurate and truthful, if it resonates inside of the part of you that, that feel-good part of you when you know that somebody's not giving you a line of BS, if my message resonates with that part of you, call us up and take the next step. Check it out for yourself. You don't have to become a longevity member to get these nutritional supplements. You're probably smart enough to be buying nutritional supplements anyway. Most people that listen to this show, they're already over that hurdle. They're already smart enough to be actively supplementing their diet with nutritional supplements. So you're already buying stuff anyway. You might as well up the ante and get the world's best stuff. Now, everybody says that their stuff is the world's best stuff, but as God is my witness, in the wonderful world of medical nutrition, there is a broad range of quality control which goes into the manufacture of the final product, the stuff that is actually on the shelf with the label on it that you purchase with your hard-earned money. And not only do different companies have different levels of quality control, which means that, the finished product might not have what the label says it has, or it might only have 50% or 10% of what the label has. It doesn't really have to have anything that the label says in it. Companies get away with murder, especially in economies like this. They, do everything they can to reduce their overhead. So instead of test the raw material that goes into the B complex with every batch that they get from their distributor, they're going to do something called skip lot testing. So if they get a bad batch and they don't test it, who knew? Well, guess what? They don't know. You don't know. We don't do that at Longevity. And the other thing is the recipes themselves. Nutritional supplements, ultimately, there's nothing magic going on here. It's like chicken soup. Not all chicken soups are created equal, are they? There's a great deal of difference between one bowl of chicken soup and the next. There's a great deal of difference between my mother's homemade chicken soup and the chicken soup in the can at the supermarket, isn't there? They have chicken soup cook-offs at county fairs, right? They're all different. Well, somebody's got to be the best. In this arena, somebody has to be the best. Longevity's nutritional supplements. Longevity's nutritional supplements are informed by $25 million of federally funded research, 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies, and over 40 years now of clinical work by one of the most experienced naturopathic physicians on the planet. It doesn't get any better than that. Again, if your child wanted to learn how to play hockey, and you had the choice of getting him coached by Wayne Gretzky or your high school hockey coach, and it was the same price, who are you going to go to? You're going to go to Gretzky every time. Well, it's no different with vitamins. If you're going to spend hard-earned money on nutritional supplements, then it would be prudent to purchase the nutritional supplements, which were manufactured by the world's leading authority on medical nutrition, Dr. Joel Wallach. There do not exist licensed physicians anywhere on the planet that have more clinical, pragmatic, and practical experience in the delivery, the genesis, and the elucidation of medical nutrition than Dr. Joel Wallach. He is the Wayne Gretzky, the Bobby Orr, the Michael Jordan, the Lance, I didn't mean to say Lance Armstrong. You know what I'm talking about. He's the Da Vinci of clinically applied medical nutrition. So if you want to be smart, then put your money on, the horse. Bet on the horse that has the best track record, and that's Dr. Wallach and the Longevity Company, hands down. And quite frankly, the real magic to our message here is in becoming a distributor. Because once you try, that's right, become a distributor, what's wrong with that? Become a distributor, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's a great idea. I know. Fantastic idea. The deal is, when you become a distributor, you are going to get your nutritional supplements for free. For free. Let's look at it this way. If you were a regular client, at the vitamin store in the mall in your hometown, whatever one it is, I don't care if it's Whole Foods or GNC or the Vitamin Shop or whatever they have, reasonable facsimiles up in Canada, whatever it is, if you are a regular customer at your local health food store and you purchase $2,000 worth of nutritional supplements every year, let's say you do $4,000 of nutritional supplements every year, $4,000. At the end of the year, you're going to go into that health food store, the vitamin store, or wherever you bought the stuff, and you're going to look at the manager, and the manager's going to say, gee, you're such a great customer, we're going to give you a coupon for 10% off your next order, right? Or maybe they'll give you $25 off of your next order, or $50 off, or a 2-for-1 or something, right? That's the best you can expect. If you become a longevity distributor, we will pay you. We will pay you. Well, not we, because I'm not a member of the company. Longevity will pay you handsomely to spread their message of health recovery through medical nutrition. The company's created over 25 multimillionaires. Over 25 multimillionaires. People just like you who were smart enough to listen, were smart enough to try medical nutrition. And then once they saw the results for themselves, they started talking about it, couldn't shut up about it. And then they taught the people who they brought into their organization to do exactly the same thing. This is not a difficult business to be successful in. All it takes is an ability to be coached, you have to lean on somebody's expertise to let them show you the ropes, show you what to do. It's easy. If you can pass a driver's license test, you can have a successful longevity business. And then as you yourself bring people into the fold, every single time they purchase something, you get paid. And that's a beautiful thing. There are moments in time where you have aha experiences, right? Things where your brain just goes, wow, I had no idea that was the case. Well, I've had a number of aha experiences in my life. One of them was when I was first involved with longevity. And I didn't know what network marketing was. I had no idea. I knew who Dr. Wallach was. I knew about Dr. Wallach's mission, and, that's why I got interested. But I was clueless about network marketing and what it took to be successful. I didn't even really know what it was. How it worked. What was the compensation plan? I was clueless, man. And I'm in a car driving to a lecture in Utah with one of longevity's top money earners. His name is Blake Graham. Wonderful human being. Blake Graham's a great guy. And Blake and I are driving down the road. We're killing time, driving from one town to the next. So I'm going to deliver a health lecture, right? Beautiful thing. And I asked Blake, I said, hey, Blake, how much money did you make in your first year with longevity? He'd been doing it for, 15, 17 years. And there was a pregnant pause. And it's one of the great things I like about Blake Graham. He's really, he's mindful about what he says, and, he's not giving you a line of BS. He really thinks about it before he'll give you an answer. And he thought about it, and I looked over at him, and his brows were wrinkled. And he thought about it for, 30 more seconds, and I'm going, holy crap, he must be calculating all these numbers in his head. And he turned over and he looked at me and said, Dr. G, he said, I have no idea how much money I made in the first year of my longevity business because I'm still making money from the people that I brought into the business 17 years ago. They're still buying stuff. And my head exploded. This is the thing about network marketing that few people understand. Wouldn't you love to be J.K. Rowling and, write the Harry Potter books once? You write them once, right? And then every time somebody buys one, you get paid. The Beatles, Abbey Road, Let It Be, whatever your favorite song is, they recorded it once. And then every time for the rest of their lives, when somebody buys one of their songs, they get paid. Wouldn't you love to be in a business like that? Well, you've just found it. Here it is. We're waiting for you, baby. Longevity is the answer to your financial distress. How do I know you're in financial distress? Because everybody's in financial distress. The economic situation in the world is a gigantic mess. Unless you're in the 1%, life is not that easy for you. You want it to be easier and easier every month? You want to ease your financial burden with real-time stuff that continues to pay you year after year after year for the efforts you made initially? Well, come and join us, ladies and gentlemen. You do not know what you're missing. You have perhaps a little idea of what you're missing as far as the health goes, but as far as the wealth goes, you're clueless. How do I know you're clueless? Because if you had a clue, you'd already be a member of my organization. FireYourMDNow.com is the website. Click on the longevity button and join us. I'm Dr. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopath. This is Influenza Week, Thursday of Influenza Week. I think I'm going to save my diatribe until the next segment because we've got callers now, and I like to take the callers as soon as I can take the callers because who likes wasting time? Do you like wasting time? Nobody likes wasting time. Amanda from Wisconsin is calling in with a question about adrenal fatigue. Hey, Amanda, thanks for the call.
Hi, how are you?
You are live. Good, thanks. What's up?
Well, about a year ago, I went to a naturopath and had some blood tests done and some saliva tests done because of some symptoms I was having, and the result was failing adrenals, no progesterone, and no stomach acid, so I wasn't absorbing nutrients at all.
Yeah.
The lady gave me, she prescribed me Armour Thyroid because I was also shown to have hypothyroidism.
Mm-hmm.
She gave me Isocort for adrenal support and pregnenolone for the lack of progesterone, and then she gave me something called Zypan for stomach acid.
Yep, so, I used to do all of that stuff too.
Right, and I took these things, about a year went by, and I had saliva test again. She said my adrenals are functioning normally, so she took me off of all that stuff. She said my progesterone is tanking, so she increased my pregnenolone. And I'm getting ready to have a blood test next month to see if I can come off the thyroid medication. Well, I've kind of reached a plateau to where I do feel a million times better, but I'm not getting any better than that. So I started taking the Healthy Start Pack about 2 months ago, and nothing's changing.
Okay, so here's what we need to do. How tall are you and how much do you weigh?
5'3" and about 115 on a fat day.
Okay, and are you on any special dietary restrictions, like you're a vegan or a vegetarian or a lacto-ovo or anything like that?
No, I'm allergic to raw tomatoes. And your 10 bad food things, about half of them I didn't eat anyway, and the other ones that I did eat, I've reduced about 90%.
Okay, good girl. And is all of your plumbing intact in your reproductive organs?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it is the rare individual who has uterus and ovaries present in their body with hormonal imbalances who need hormone supplementation. Now, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, right? And my colleagues and I You know, an acupuncturist will try to fix somebody's hormone levels through a particular avenue. A chiropractor does it through another way. A homeopath does it through another way. And 5 different naturopathic doctors will all do it 5 different ways, right? Because everybody has their own thing. Now, I used to do exactly the therapeutics that you were given. And I don't do it anymore, or rarely will I do it. I'll only do it in women that have had their plumbing removed. So my recommendation here is let's just pause, take a breath, and see what's happening, right? So if somebody has a legitimate hormone imbalance, and it sounds to me like the naturopath that you went to did the appropriate testing. So if the testing comes back, the objectified testing comes back, and it shows that there's a problem with the hormones, then the first thing to consider is giving your body more hormone raw materials. And it may interest you to know, you probably already know this if you're listening to the show, it sounds like you are, that all hormones in the body are made from cholesterol.
Correct.
So, all right. So and this is also an interesting thing, because with adrenal fatigue, the adrenal gland makes cortisol, plus a number of other stress hormones, but cortisol is the big one. And when you're under stress, right, like if you're, in the Army and you're on the front lines and there are people shooting at you, right, that's a big stress, okay? So when you're involved with stress, whatever type of stress it is, your adrenal glands are stimulated to do their stuff and produce the stuff that they need to produce in order to help the body handle the stress. Now, if the adrenal glands are nutrified and there's enough cholesterol in the body, the adrenal glands will respond to the stress no problem. Now, you can make the argument that too much stress will break anybody's back, so to speak, and I would agree. I mean, even kryptonite would hurt Superman, right? A particular type of stress. Right? But with most people experiencing the normal stress of life, if the adrenal glands can't keep up, it's probably because there's not enough cholesterol in the body. Now you've got another progesterone problem, which also speaks to a cholesterol deficiency. So that's 2 strikes for the cholesterol deficiency theory. So that's where I'm going to lay my money, that you just need to start eating food that's high in cholesterol. Eggs, man. I mean, at 115 pounds, 6 eggs a day. 6 eggs a day with butter and salt. Stick around. We're up against the hard break. There's a couple more things I'd like to talk to you about. Glidden here. We're talking to Amanda about adrenal fatigue. Amanda, you're still with us?
Yep, I'm still here. And based on what you just said, I'd like to tell you that I live on a livestock farm. So we have very long, hard, stressful days. All our meat and eggs are all homegrown, chemical-free, GMO-free. I drink raw milk from my own goats every day, and I average 3 to 4 eggs for breakfast every day and have for the past 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so before you met us, how much whole grains were you consuming?
Probably, well, we don't eat junk food or buy chips or go out to eat or anything like that. Just bread at home.
Yeah, so were you like a bread eater your whole life, right? And pasta and wheat, barley, rye, and oats, stuff like that?
Yeah, and we quit eating bread about 4 or 6 months ago, maybe.
All right, so this is very good. So in addition to stopping bread, now you can have gluten-free bread as much as you'd like. And, it sounds like you're into it, so I would encourage you to start to get into homemade gluten-free bread baking. Come up with a fantastic gluten-free bread recipe and sell it, because there's only a handful of people that are actually making good gluten-free bread. And I've got to tell you, the stuff that you buy at the supermarket that's gluten-free, it costs a freaking arm and a leg.
Well, I've been experimenting with buckwheat.
Well, you can use teff, you can use sorghum flour, you can use rice flour, you can use bean flour. You can make flour from anything you want, basically, as long as it's not wheat, barley, rye, or oats, okay? So, but my point here is that in a rational conversation about medical nutrition, there are only 2 situations inside of which medical nutrition fails. Number 1, you're either not taking enough, Sounds to me like you're taking enough. Number 2, you're not absorbing what you're taking. So because they did that test that showed you didn't have any stomach acid, right?
Right.
That's an indication that you're not absorbing squat. Because in order for your stomach to make healthy stomach acid, which is really a pretty high priority of the body, in order for the stomach to make appropriate levels of strong stomach acid, it needs 2 things. It needs salt, or it mostly needs chloride, right? The easiest way to get chloride is from sodium chloride, salt, and it needs calcium. The little cells in your stomach are called chief cells, like Indian chief. The chief cells squirt out the stomach acid. But in order to squirt out the stomach acid, they need calcium. So if you're calcium deficient, your stomach acid is going to be in the gutter. If you're salt deficient, your stomach acid is going to be in the gutter. And we have clinical evidence that your stomach acid was in the gutter. Now, if your stomach acid is in the gutter, that's going to mean it's virtually impossible for your body to pull nutrients out of the food that you're eating. And if you're eating, like everybody in this country does, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, whole wheat bread, twice a day, pasta for dinner or whatever, not only is the stomach acid corrupted, but the villi and the intestinal tract are harmed, and so it's a double whammy against you. I mean, thank God you got this diagnosis, no kidding. Because, before you started on your road to recovery, man, you were a train wreck. We're waiting to go off the precipice. I mean, no kidding.
Yeah, it was really awful.
Yeah, I get it, right? And so this is a bunch of things going on here for you, but when we trace them all back to the roots, the most probable thing to consider is, holy smokes, not enough nutrition. So, now, given the fact that you've only given up wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and I don't know that you've done that. You've stopped eating bread, right? So maybe you're still doing are you still doing oatmeal?
No.
Okay. So let's say you've been gluten-free for 4 months. That's excellent, by the way. So being gluten-free, you should expect a medical nutrition program every 3 to 4 weeks to produce a little bit incrementally better results. It's like watching a snowball roll down a hill, or that's not a good metaphor. It's like planting a seed and watching the flower grow, right? It's a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time, and then before you know it, you've got a nice, beautiful flower, and that's how it goes. So really, I would give your body a total of 9 months being gluten-free in order to, come back in a way that's noticeable for you to come back. So I would just stay the course with your supplementation. And one extra thing that you could do and that you probably should do if you want to try to speed this process along, there's 2 things that you can do. You can double up the amount of calcium that you're taking. Double up the amount of calcium. So if you're taking a calcium for a 100-pound dose, take a calcium for the 200-pound dose and do that for, 6 months. So that would be 1 ounce of the calcium twice a day. So you'd need 2 bottles of the calcium a month. And if you're going to add on calcium like that, I like to add the Cal Toddy. It's less expensive, it has more magnesium in it, and it's, when you combine that with the OsteoFX Plus, which is part of the Healthy Start Pack, it really rounds out your body's calcium distribution system for your body. So I would get 1 extra bottle of the Cal Toddy a month. I would also add the HGH Youth Complex. HGH Youth Complex, and take 6 of those every night right before bed. 6 of the HGH Youth Complex. Because that particular supplement gives your body the additional specific nutrients it needs to have healthy hormone levels. So your body needs hormone support, so we do that with the HGH and the cholesterol. Seems like you've already got the cholesterol wrapped up. The only other thing you need to do is help your body's stomach acid situation along, and you didn't get bad stomach acid for no reason. The most common cause of zero stomach acid is not enough calcium, not enough salt. So we're going to up the calcium for a couple months, see how that makes you feel, and stay the course here. Just stay the course. Make sure you're salting your food every day. Salt it so that it tastes good, and you're going to need different amounts of salt on different days, right?
Yeah.
And just stay the course. One more thing that you might find helpful And I counsel everybody who's had a chronic disease, who's been suffering badly for more than 3-4 years. The brain forgets how bad it used to be. So even if there's been, 50% improvement in one symptom, because there's 50% pain still there, the mind will forget how bad it used to be. And so one thing that is helpful most of the time in order to keep people on the holistic wagon, because the holistic wagon is a long wagon train, it's because what are we doing? We're rebuilding the whole house. We're not just slapping a coat of paint on it. We're not just painting over the mold in the basement. We're tearing out the wall and putting a new foundation in and fixing the water leak. I mean, it takes time to do this. So in order to give you inspiration to stay the course, you might want to get a little chart, write all your symptoms down on it, and then once a week score that symptom. Give it a 1 out of a 10. Today my fatigue is a 4 out of a 10. My neck pain is a 6 out of a 10, or whatever it is. And then over the course of time, you'll be able to look at that list and say, geez, son of a gun, you know what, I am getting better, even though it might not be as fast as you had hoped. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, Amanda, you're the greatest. Keep up the good work, and call us with a report, because, we like to keep track of stuff like this. Thank you so much for your support, and good luck, girl.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Now, I've lost track of the callers here. It looks like Greg is up next, if he's still around. Greg from New York, you are live. Hello, Greg.
This is Greg speaking.
Hey, Greg, what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm new to the longevity products and things of that nature.
Well, welcome aboard,
I'm not an expert on it yet. I'm hoping to be in the future. My question to you is, I have a daughter she's 7 years old, and she has lots of eczema.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if there's something I can do to help my daughter out.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's funny you should bring that up, because in my monologue at the beginning, I was speaking about a longevity guy named Blake Graham. Blake's wife is Japanese, and they have a little daughter. They have 3 kids, I think. I believe it was his first daughter. When she was born, she had really, really bad eczema. I mean, it was like textbook bad, 10 out of a 10 clinical eczema. And he followed Dr. Wallach's advice, and within 3 months, the eczema was completely gone. He's got all the pictures, the before and the after pictures, and it is just a really, really excellent testimony about what medical nutrition can do for eczema, all right? So you're in good hands here, and it's interesting that you should call about this on the same day that I'm talking about Blake Graham.
Oh, wow.
So, from our point of view, the majority of the time, an eczematous skin condition is caused by an allergy, an allergic reaction to wheat. So you kind of get 2 for 1 here, man, because we recommend everybody stops wheat, barley, rye, and oats, right? We want everybody to be gluten-free. And I especially want anybody with eczema to be gluten-free, because usually that's the exciting cause. It's an allergic reaction to the protein in wheat, okay? So your daughter needs to be wheat-free. And into the bargain, in order to help everything out, round it all out, wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So the best way to kind of conceptualize that is you and her and everybody in your family need to be gluten-free. So you can have gluten-free cereal, gluten-free crackers, gluten-free pasta, gluten-free bread, gluten-free whatever you want, but it has to be gluten-free. And it's 1,000,000 times easier to do that now than it was even 2 years ago, because the anti-gluten thing is a kind of a social phenomenon that's really catching a fire here in the United States, and there's all kinds of companies coming on board the gluten-free train all the time. So become gluten-free. Just by stopping her consumption of wheat, all by itself, may eliminate the eczematous condition. However, in order to support and promote the health of her skin, it would be prudent, while you're eliminating wheat, to also give her skin nutrients. And remember, the skin is attached to the bones, is attached to the heart, is attached to everything's connected. So the recommendation for your daughter, in addition to being gluten-free, would be 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and then 1 extra bottle of EFA+. The essential fatty acids go a long way towards knocking down the inflammation that the eczema generates, and it's also very healing for the skin. Now, some kids, the EFAs, of course, are the little gel caps with the fish oil inside of them. Some kids can't swallow those because they're too big. So what I like to encourage parents to do is play a game with the kids. Have them just put them in their mouth and chew them, and then they'll pop in their mouth. The child thinks that's fun and it's a game, and that's one way to get around the problem if the child can't swallow it. If they don't like popping it in their mouth, and most kids do, by the way, most kids love it, actually, and they'll want to do way more EFAs. But if that's a problem for the child, just pierce the EFA with a little pin, squeeze the oil out, and, put it on their food, and that's another workaround for it. So gluten-free, healthy start pack, selenium, 1 extra bottle of essential fatty acids a month. And as God is my witness, within 8 weeks, it should be gone. And by gone, I mean gone. So give it a try. Thanks for calling, but more importantly, thanks for becoming a Longevity member. Thanks for taking a step on your own behalf, and really on behalf of your friends, your family, your church members, and your community members. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden. Phones just keep on ringing, so I'm going to keep answering them. Julie from New York is up next. I think she has a question about Graves' disease, I think. Welcome aboard, Julie. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on, Julie?
Well, I wanted to tell you, too, that I have been gluten-free for about 6 weeks, and I definitely feel the difference.
Nice.
And I've been giving my cats colloidal silver.
Nice.
But my friend, she was diagnosed with Graves' ophthalmology, and we were under the impression that she also had Graves' disease. Yeah. But today she just went to the doctors, and they said, no, she does not have Graves' disease. She has all the symptoms pretty much, except for maybe like 1, I think she said. And her doctor said, well, I can't help you, and let her go.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that something?
She's very upset.
Well, that's like bringing your, I don't know, I can't even fathom a good metaphor for that. So, you go into a medical professional, an MD, with an active set of symptoms. I mean, you feel like so much crap that it prompts you to go visit the doctor. A doctor would think that if somebody, is sick enough to actually come to their office for help, then there must be something wrong with them, but because the doctor can't find anything because of their incompetence, they let the patient go. There ought to be a law for stuff like that, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, there really should be. So, now, this experience underlines something that I don't talk about enough here. It's incompetence of medical professionals. And I can't tell you how many times I've had patients in my office, and almost 100% of the people who end up in naturopaths' offices end up in naturopaths' offices because they've already done the conventional medicine, right? It's very few people do naturopathic medicine from the cradle to the grave. It's very few people who do that. So I can't tell you how many times they've just misdiagnosed stuff, or they diagnosed it as one thing and it was something else, or they weren't able to formulate a diagnosis at all, ordered the wrong blood work, gave conflicting prescription medications, left hand doesn't know what the right is doing. It's a big problem. And really, we've gotten too comfortable with this whole concept of definitive clinical diagnoses. But what I mean by that is I don't care what the doctor wants to call it. I don't care if they want to call it, a Glidden's disease, or the sunrise disease, or the asphalt disease, or whatever it is that they're going to call it. I don't really care, because the vast majority of the time, conditions are not life-threatening. You know, it's good to know if your condition is life-threatening. It's good to know what your condition is and what organs are involved, what parts of the body you need a little extra love and care. But generally speaking, it's irrelevant. Because I don't really care what they're going to call it. What I'm going to do every time, regardless of what they call it, is support and promote the body's ability to fix itself. And this is one of the wonderful things about boilerplate medical nutrition, which is what we deliver here, what's delivered here through the ages of longevity. It's boilerplate medical nutrition. You know, it's kind of one size fits all. It's different based on your body weight and a little bit on your health history, but really it's not that difficult to dial in. So if we suspect that it might be Graves' disease, then the organ that's involved there is the adrenal gland. And so what do we do in the kidneys? So what do? We give kidney and adrenal support, and so that means a diet that's high in cholesterol. You know, just like with Amanda, who we were talking to. She's got to have a diet that's high in cholesterol. And there's a supplement, and I never remember the name of this supplement. It's specific for the kidney and the bladder. It's KB, I think. I think it's made by Superlife. Super KB, I think is the name. Kidney bladder. Super KB, I think is the name of the supplement. So the recommendation would be one healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, one bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, one bottle of Super KB per 100 pounds of body weight per month, a couple of bottles of Z-Radical a month if she can afford it, and a diet that's high in cholesterol, and she has to be salting her food so that it tastes good. That is an excellent place for her to start. You want her to write down her symptoms and gauge her improvement or lack thereof every couple of days on a little chart. Because people with chronic fatigue, they're kind of a little out of it anyway, you know. That would be what I would do for the first 3 months. So go get them, spread that word, give her the advice, and see if she's going to take that ball and run with it. Thank you for everything that you do, Julie. Keep up the good work. Your community is depending on you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. The second segment coming up after these messages.